Good afternoon. It's August 11th, 2022, and here's what we're looking at for today. Really just a range day. You can see on the daily chart, it's a doji right now. I think I would assume, I don't know, maybe the buyers are trying to make this close higher than the open. But yeah, you could see it's a doji there. Let me go back. And you can see we're about to make our second close outside of this channel. So something to think about. The sell-off might be coming. But here's what we're looking at for the day. So let's take a look. I think I saw everything. We'll take a look though. So in the overnight, the way I saw it was these prices were working up. I think there was a news item this morning which caused this big bar right here. And you get a second entry off the trend line, but the signal bar is no good, unfortunately, because that would have worked out for you. Then we come up here, we get a break, and I think this was a range. Perhaps the lows are from this bar, but yeah, you can see that's what makes the midline look most touched. So I was looking at this as a range. So when this broke, actually, let me say this. I was actually looking at the range initially like this. So when this broke out, I looked at this as a failed breakout. You get a higher low right here, no good signal bar, and then you get the failure here. So normally this is pretty congestive to take a failure, but with the higher low and it closing within the range that I had drawn, I like it. But yeah, after the fact, I think you want to draw your range more like that. Then again, you get a second entry, but the signal bar is no good. It actually looks pretty similar to this one right here. And we get this channel up. And unfortunately, there's not a whole lot in here. It felt like a strong move up, so maybe you look at this one here as a failure and a breakout pullback. I mean, it confirms the trend line. So Mac might mark this one blue because it is off the trend line. This looks congestive. And then we get this second entry long and it's off the trend line. I should probably mark this one blue because it is very close to that trend channel. I just didn't like it as much because it's a bit away from the EMA, but it was a pretty healthy uptrend. So when we come up here, you see we come short of the channel, and really we've been coming short of the channel. So I think that's when the buyers decided to take their profits. Maybe we get like a measured move of some sort. Yeah, that's probably what happened, is the buyers got this. Maybe they did that. Yeah. Okay, so that, for whatever reason, I don't know why that's happening. For whatever reason, people probably measured this as the first leg and then this as the second leg, and you can see that's a perfect measured move. And so they probably just decided to take profits since we weren't hitting these channel highs. And that leads to a pretty nice leg down, and we probably get a measured move in the other direction. It goes a little further. But yeah, we get this. This is actually it's like a third entry long technically, but it looks like a second entry long, and it's a failure. So I think you can take that one with it setting up above the EMA. But then we reverse and we start to go lower. And I think technically this would be your failure. This is your signal bar, so you can't take that. And you get a second entry short right here. Unfortunately, it doesn't set up. That's confirmation of the channel. However, you get this lower high. That's also a failure. So you might take that. I think I have to mark this aggressive because we're going into this swing low and it's not off the EMA. So those aren't always going to work. Come down here, hit the channel lows, slight overshoot, leads to some congestion. And then we get a first entry, second entry off of that trend line. And you get a nice move down, come up short of that trend channel, and that leads to a break. If you got trapped on this one, well, that looks like one leg up to me. And you can see it's within that channel. So that's a second entry short. Would it have worked? Let's see. 30, 50. So yeah, if you're going for a probably like 6 ticks, it would work. But if you're going for 2 points, that's not going to work. And come up here. First entry, second entry, this is above the EMA, and we're just chopping around, so I don't think you want to take that. And we get confirmation of this trend line right here. You get a second entry short, but it's not off the trend line. We are moving lower, but I don't think, with it being above the EMA, I don't think you can really take that. It doesn't move too far, and then we get this move. This is pretty tempting. It kind of looks like a double test, and it's off the trend channel, but I don't think you can take that. It's pretty congestive too. We come up here and you get a second entry short, but we didn't make it to the bottom of that channel, so that's a bit risky. And I don't think there's 4 ticks back to the EMA. Yeah, so that's pretty risky. I don't think you want to take that. Then we make this move up. We form this congestion, and you might consider one of these, to be honest. I'm about to put that. That's a second entry. You make that matching high. We don't touch the EMA, and it's another bear signal bar, so you might take that and ride it down to the trend line, and it breaks the trend line, and you get a first entry, second entry long. That's also a double test of these lows, but it closes below the EMA. You're going into that midline. You should have that range drawn by then. That's pretty risky, but a lot of people like that. So we get a break, move to a new high, first entry. So I guess second entry. This is, I'm just realizing this now, but this is a nice trap because you see people probably took first entry, second entry, and a higher low right here. Or not a higher low. Yeah, that is a higher low right here. Went long. So when you get this first, second entry short, if you see all that, I think you take that. And the bias at that point is down. We just bounced off the opening price. So that's a good sign for shorts. We had a break of this channel and a move to a new high. So these moves are this is too far from the EMA. This is a second entry short, but too far from the EMA. Come down here, new low, first entry, second entry. I marked this as red, but I could see myself being hesitant about this one in real time. It's not at the trend channel. Probably want to. This yellow channel is, I think it's valid. So if you're expecting a new low, you might take that. But we come back to the trend channel right here, and that's when we go lower. And you could argue this is a double test, but you don't get a signal bar to go short there anyway. But yeah, you can argue for that being a double test. But yeah, signal bar is no good anyway. And this is all too far from the EMA. We come down here, we get a nice second entry short off that trend channel. take that, you get a lower high, take that, you get a failure right here. This one's a little more aggressive, but when you see the EMA turning it down every time, I like that. This one's actually more aggressive too because you can see we couldn't go lower right there. But yeah, I like that. And over here you get a first failed second entry long, but this is late in the day. It's far from the EMA, so that's risky. So that's how I saw it today. Hope everyone had a great day. I'll be back tomorrow.